Hello to you from Argentina. Hello to you from Portugal. Hello to you from the cat's dinner. Hello to you from the dog's ass.
I know. I think the rhyming makes it. The not rhyming makes it better.
I'm a classy lad, what can I say?
Hello again, everybody. You're listening to Twin Humanities, the Dark Souls podcast. It's season 2, episode 3, I think.
Yes.
Yes, good. My name is Paddy, as it was last time. It might have changed. You never know.
Well done, sir.
You don't want to keep people. You've got to keep people on their toes. Friend, what's your name?
I am Pete. Yeah, I am. I was just saying that as I was opening the chest and I got the silver pendant and I was like, I am Pete. And at that point I just realised with that first note of recorder that my mind was going pendant. And my name isn't pendant, nor is it Pete's Dragon, which I tried to sort of get from there afterwards. I'm Pete.
I'm,
Yes, my mum named me after a whistle sound.
what
Full
does
time
everyone else call you though?
Often CJ.
Yeah, that's good. That's the answer I was expecting today, but it's not the answer that I received.
But it was a real surprise that I found the silver pendant. I wasn't expecting it in this chest. So everything that all the servers that contained 2 letters were all overridden with the surprise. Ooh, the silver pendant.
Right, after that superb start, last week we hit up I hit up the what are they called? Not the depths, the fireplace, Demon Ruins.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, last place was Demon Ruins, taking on our friend CCD, Ceaseless of the Discharge, Demon Fire Sage, a few more guys. In the days since that, I've had a little potter around the area there, but I've not really gone much further. I've just kind of opened up the shortcuts and generally kind of kept away from that place. Over the last couple of days, we have been bro-upping, and we have been
Mopo, yo.
like bro like a mofo, yo, and we've gone back to the past.
Back to the past.
Gotta get back to the past. Dark Souls people.
I don't know if you took that.
You don't know Samurai? Okay, that's a whole nother podcast. Oh, we need to have words afterwards. Yeah, we went back to the past and we had a run at Oolacile Township,
We
which
did
is
indeed.
the part that's just past Artorias, isn't it?
Artorias. This is terrible because you don't want to sort of go into this sort of thing because I always have my Duran Duran moment is whenever I have a banana, my brain always goes to the start of The Reflex by Duran Duran and it goes banana, banana, the reflex, flex, 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 flex.
Flex, flex.
So yeah, that's the inflection that kind of intersperses.
I'll see my one on that is if I knew a thing as a trailer and it has a thing that looks cool, like the recent Saints Row 4 ones where it's like you're also the president and you've got superpowers, then my head says sold, and then the rest of it fills in with always believe in your soul. Every time, and I just cannot stop. Whenever the word sold comes up, it's like, nope, I'm going to sing it in my head now. Fucking bastard. Right, anyway, yes, Oolacile Township. Now I've explored a bit of this myself on my own. And I think there was a time we were trying to meet up for a while, weren't we?
Well, we were trying to. Oh no, we've jumped too far ahead.
What did we forget?
Mofo. We went into Tomb of the Giants first.
Oh yes, we did. I knew there
that
was something else.
we were there on the last podcast. Then we were trying to.
We were trying to get you through it, weren't we?
Trying to do some bro-uppy stuff, even though all the lights were glitching and
Correct.
we couldn't kind of find one another. So we went back and we did a few slices of bro up, and we went through 2 pieces of the journey up to Nito, really, and had us a riotous time. It has to be said.
It was a good laugh. I very muchly enjoyed our run around.
You
You go.
seeing me use the reinforced club
Oh god.
on the giant dogs because it just takes them out in one jump. And
The-
I
The
did try
note
and
dogs.
yeah, I did
Yeah.
try and armor up a little,
Mm.
but it ruined the jump somewhat, and it shortened it. So I
It took
was
you about a week to jump through the air, didn't it?
yeah. So but I think we got through those sort of relatively quickly.
Yeah, I think we had a couple of problems. I can't remember where they were.
I think they were idiotic problems. I think it was more sort of falling off ledges and me trying to get down there again. And me doing stupid stuff. Like, there's only a handful of those pinwheels. That'll be fine.
Run, dead.
Yeah.
And the baby skeletons as well. The baby ones in the pinwheel room.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that they could move that fast. Because when I fought them on my own, they just run up towards you. They don't kind of sprint around the place. They just kind of walk up, and you can just casually bat them away with a downward slash. With the 2 of us, I looked around, and you'd kind of pissed off at least 5 or 6 of them. Mm-hmm. And I looked down, and then these tiny little babies just sort of accelerated, and whoosh across the sea. Like,
They
Jesus!
absolutely zoomed, didn't they?
They zoomed it, yeah.
And I had about 6 following me. I looked like I was leading a Sunday school party.
You were like a tiny skeletal Pied Piper.
It was just wrong. And it's difficult to hit them at times as well because...
they're lower than the usual.
Yeah, you have to really be on a lower ledge to kind of hit up at them.
Yeah, or have a move like my Quelog sword, or the scimitars do, where the kick is replaced with a low slice and a backflip.
It'd be great to be able to do that move that Chester does.
Oh, the sweep the leg?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be delicious. Where else did we die in that level? We died a few times.
There was mainly... I got invaded in the giant room with all the skeletons where the large divine ember is. I actually got invaded in there. And the guy's running around between the skeletons that don't really bother him. And that's where the idea sort of came in of it'd be interesting if enemies attacked invaders in Dark Souls 2 as well, and not just you.
Because let's be fair, the stakes are usually stacked in favour of the invader.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because they've got all the opportunity of knowing that they're coming in for you, whereas you're probably spec'd up for the level. For example, like you're fighting a bunch of flame guys, so you haven't got so much like physical defense, but you might go up on your flame defense, and they come in with like a big physical attack, and you're screwed because It happened in Demon Souls a bit as well. I remember in the fireplace. What's it called? World 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of specking up to fight fiery people, and having sort of anti-thingy attack, and people jump in, and you just weren't spec'd up for it at all. You're like, shit, Christ, they've literally played a trump on you, and not in a fart way, in a playing card way, because coming in and playing a trump on you in a fart way, well, that's just not nice. No,
it's not.
It's horrible. Quite a lot of good fun times were had. I actually, when we were trying to meet up in Two of the Giants, I did get summoned in by another person. I thought, okay, well, I'll tag along with this person. I'll help them out, and then I'll come back to you in a minute.
Yeah.
So I was running around at the top, the bit where you meet patches, and sort of above where the bonfire is. And I was just running around as you do, just rolling around, wasting time. And I managed to roll off the edge down to where the bonfire is, but ever so slightly, like we're talking 6 inches ahead of where I was supposed to land, and I fell off and I died in the stupidest way possible.
That lad must have just thought you were... Oh, I'm saying lad. That person must have just thought that you were mental.
That controller of that male avatar must have thought I was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but I think we did Nito with damnable ease. I think.
Yeah, we certainly turfed him over. Well, the plan was that one of us would go in with a divine weapon, one would go in with a normal weapon,
Hmm.
and we'd sort him out from there. But certainly when he was distracted with you, it was great to be able to whack in there with sort of a firestorm and
Yeah,
uh, light his furry cloaks on fire.
yeah, because I mean the fire just it really does burn him up in seconds. It's really good, really really good. Um, but yeah, then that was nice because once you do Two with the Giants, you never have to go back there again.
Yeah, but
Oh,
saying that, you were sort of all, oh, Tomb of the Giants, it's really dark, it's really grim, there are nasty things in here, and then prepare yourself, my friend, for Chasm of the Abyss.
yes,
Well,
right.
Chasm of the Abyss was amazing,
It
but
was, but we're not there
Oolacile,
yet.
no, we're
We've
not.
not talked about Oolacile yet. We have not talked about Oolacile yet, have we, sir?
No, but that's where we went next to Oolacile Township, which is prime location for being invaded as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Like easily 3 or 4 times that evening, we got invaded very
yeah,
quickly, didn't we? And at least the people were bowing. Usually, they were bowing and they were being nice. And we had a really good fight where it was me and you versus one guy with like I think he had one of the tracer swords, the dark
yeah,
tracer, I think, and he was nimble and quick, and it was a really good close fight, and backstabs all over the place. It was really fun. Um, but yeah, traveling through Oolacile, my my observations on Oolacile, um, I like it and it creeps me out
it is.
because the tomato head men,
Mm-hmm.
the bloat heads or whatever they're actually called,
Mm.
like we're going through, and I'm trying to work out why they've got such massive heads.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't work out why they've got such massive heads. Like, do you know why they have massive heads? Because I
Um,
creeps me out.
I put a lot of it down to Manus, and maybe because Chasm of the Abyss has so much humanity down there.
Hmm.
Maybe what he does is he pops the top off a human being, sort of draws out their humanity of their soul, and then puts this kind of bulbous cork on the top, and just it's then there to do its will.
That's
And
oh, that's disgusting.
perhaps that's one of the things that Manus has constantly been trying to do to Artorias,
Possibly.
because Artorias is trapped in that citadel, going half out of his mind. Manus is chucking, creature after creature at him, and as you noted previously, that Artorias has a broken arm,
Hmm.
um, for reasons that become painfully obvious as we go on. So there,
Yeah.
there will be there will be some huge spoilers later on. So if you've not gotten to the point where you've defeated Manus, then we'll kick in a spoiler warning beforehand. But
We'll throw a big one up.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the actual Oolacile Township. I mean it's an okay level. It's quite a standard kind of Dark Souls level. There's a way forward. There's a few side passages with some cool stuff around, but there's a way forwards
hmm
straight ahead, and there's not too much to the sides. And the enemies, they don't throw more than sort of 4 or 5 at you at a time. And then you cross the bridge.
but I think to sort of speak about Oolacile Township in itself is, I mean, it's not massively packed with enemies, but I
Not
think
really,
I think
no.
um, one of the terrors that you learn to appreciate is the fact that if you're complacent within that space, something will get you. And at the point that you are being complacent, there could well be something hiding around a corner that will follow you around, or will drop in behind you, and there's plenty of that.
There's a lot of I don't want to say monster closets, but you know what I mean when you're not really paying attention and something hits you in the back and you're like, where the bloody hell was that come from?
Well, we had a point where I was standing up on sort of quite a high ledge, and I thought I'll have a pop at one of the bloated witch women, sort of in the distance. fired across a huge distance to twat me one. Absolutely massive, and I just thought there's no way she'll even attempt that, and it's something that we saw more as we went down to Chasm of the Abyss as well.
Definitely, the range the witches can aggro at is
Yeah.
It's because you see one in the distance, you think, oh, I'm fine. You're probably not fine,
No,
and you only know that you're not fine when you're falling to your death.
I think there's the aspect as well that they can bend that magic.
Yeah,
That's
it can track you.
devastating.
Yeah, I've tried to roll out, like run to the side away from it, and it just bends, and you're like, oh, bloody Christ.
Also, when where you kind of think that a shot will be fired, it's always before, and
Yeah, the
it's really
timing on them is a weird timing.
it's a really strange one to get your head around a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, we got through that. The part where I think Oolacile Township turns into a bugger, which we actually did all right on, but the bit when it turns into a bugger is when you get inside, when you've crossed the bridge, you've gone all the way across the other side of the level, and you go inside this kind of, I consider it a warehouse looking thing. And you go inside and you kind of see a couple of the Smarto heads and you pop them off and think, this is easy. And then you kind of go down a small staircase and you look around and there's like 12 of them.
Yeah, I think that's where it takes advantage of the way that it's played its opening cards. Because you've had a few of them together and they've been interspersed, they've been hiding around corners. Then you get a ton of them that are ahead of you. And the interesting thing is that they're actually just further down and round the other corner when you go down those stairs as well.
And they're very, very well concealed as well.
There's something about that attack as well. You know, that kind of double hit fling that they try to do.
Yes.
I mean, I was rocking the Great Shield of Artorias, which is fantastic for defending against them. But they're really kind of quite canny at trying to get around it. And sometimes when they do that kind of flailing hand attack, the one which is just like, they often
one more. Just do that again. I didn't quite catch that.
No, one night only, mate. That's the point where they'll often sort you out, because they seemingly reach round at least one side of the shield
and
so
clip you on like that. And they're good at flanking as well. Like they run around a lot.
Well, have you noticed when you try and go towards one of them will try and go behind you?
Yeah, definitely. And we saw that a bit later on when we were further on in the level. There's a bridge that you head across towards like an internal place, and you go across this long bridge, and we sniped the guys out from a distance. So we're going along, and as you kind of go down a set of stairs, there's one each on each side of the bottom of this staircase. And as we will go, okay, you take the left one, I'll take the right one. Simple. So we go round. You'd go fight your one. My one would run straight past me and go for you.
Yeah.
Every single time without fail.
Devious.
Yeah, and I was like, come back here. And I was kind of swiping where I thought he'd be. And he just ran past me. I had to kind of run up and sort of save you. There was the time we got invaded when we were trying to open up the shortcut. I think it was in the warehouse. We got invaded in the warehouse and we both kind of panicked. Just move, just go, let's go. Let's open it up.
This was fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it was me or you that were the main character at the time, but I don't think it matters either way. We were in the warehouse, and we're taking out the guys, a couple of the witches, complicating matters, and we were kind of dealing with it, and we saw, you've been invaded. We're like, bugger, right, quick, what do we do now? Let's go activate the shortcut, I think, because the shortcut was very, very close. It's like, we can activate that, we can get back down here, no worries, not have to do that whole bit again. If we can get there and die, big whoop. So that was then a frantic couple of minutes in the warehouse with the high up magic woman that we couldn't quite hit.
But I think that I don't think I'd actually activated that portal yet.
But the lift.
Yeah, I don't think I'd activated it, and that's one of the reasons why.
We were hacking for that, just so we could open it up and then come back.
I think that's one of the reasons why he was standing in front of it, because I think because he couldn't see us, he was thinking that we may well activate it and come back up, but he clearly gone for a wee or a wank or a biscuit or something.
Because we the two of us went forwards. We got onto our shortcut plate, and we went up the lift, expecting nothing to be there. We rise on the lift. The lift stops. Redness fills my screen. And I think the way the camera was positioned, it was positioned so it was right behind the invader who was stood at the top of this lift, staring at it. And I panicked and yelled, and you were like, "What?" I was like, "Move!"
I just didn't expect him to be there at all.
Yeah, it was great, and we divided and conquered somehow. Like, you ran one way, I ran the other way. We're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, shit!" Ran away. Looked back, and he hadn't moved. And it was like, is he going to fight us? Is he being weird? Should we go back down? Let's go back down. So I love that we got back on the lift, went down, we walked along. I just turned my camera around for a second, saw a health bar flash in the lift elevator shaft. I was like, what happened there? Phantom has been vanquished. So I can only presume that he noticed we were there, woke up, tried to jump down the shaft after us, and missed.
I think he tried to get on the lift.
Yeah.
And just completely failed. But it was fantastic to see.
Yeah. Just panicking, because we were at the point where we were like, sod it, we're not going to win, let's just see what we can do, and get away. I was like,
we were halfway down on the lift, and then there was confusion on our faces. And then all of a sudden the Phantom had been vanquished. It was just like, tra-la-la-la-lol, la-la-la-la-lol.
But that bit was made all the better by the fact that he clearly stood there and looked at us for a minute first. We could have gone and attacked him. No, we ran away. He chased and killed himself. We could have attacked him, and we ran.
I can just imagine how he was going on with his mates. How did he go on Dark Souls last night? Yeah, we're going to the pub.
Bless him. Bless his little cotton socks.
But we did get that on the other side of it. That invader beforehand was just incredible. The one where we both took him on, and I think he got a sliver of health left, and he was sort of dancing around me. I think he nailed you at that point.
Nailed me with a backstab, I think.
Yeah.
And that was literally, we were all dancing around each other, trying to kind of outmaneuver and outflank each other.
Because he got a scythe, and I can't think what other weapon he got. But
it was one of the tracers, I think, the little short daggers.
Yeah, I got the bunny stick, but I was also given a test run out to the Fire Zweihander, and so at a certain point where he was occupied with you, was the point where I introduced the Flaming Smackdown.
And when it hit, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was great.
It's such a slow attack though that he was so nippy. Like, it was usually 10 feet away from him by the time it had landed, which is a shame because
in previous games I've used the Zaphander pretty nicely, and the Fire Zweihander's not even vaguely as good. So I was a bit disappointed with that, to be honest.
Yeah. You can always melt it down and make a new one.
Yeah. I was just hoping it would have flames that were at least close to the Lightning Zwei, but maybe even the Lightning Zwei's been nerfed. I don't know.
Possibly. You never know. Maybe.
It was a great weapon.
But so moving on forward through the level, we then met Pencilhead.
Oh yeah, the guy with the massive metal conch.
Yeah, he's a strange fella. So as you're moving through, you come to an area and there's this human-looking-ish figure in the way that it's got legs. Like, it's legs and a big blob and like what looks like a giant spear that he's holding. And you get closer and you see that it's actually kind of through the middle of this kind of, I wouldn't call it armor, because it didn't look to me like he was wearing it for protection. It looked to me like he was putting it, like an Iron Maiden almost.
Yeah, it was kind of a ball and chain, wasn't it?
Yeah, a ball and chain, and then a full bathroom suite made of metal encased around his face. But that guy, he's made of armor. It's very hard to kill him with regular attacks.
Well,
Uh,
the reinforced club did quite nicely on him, but I'd used the demon spear in the past,
hmm.
and it just bounced off him like in a way that staggered my character. Literally, it's as if because it's got that curved metal surface before the massive prong. It's
Yes.
as if the demon spear hit the surface, had nowhere to really connect, and kind of flew up.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a McBeastage.
McBeast. Even the pyromancy wasn't doing great against him. I was
No.
chucking fireballs, and it was all well and good, but then you run out of fireballs.
Mm.
Let's say we got past him, we got down, and before we actually reached the next bonfire, something incredibly stupid happened. With the lift again. Something so unbearably stupid. I almost don't want to tell this story, but I have to now. So we killed Pencilhead and we went around the corner towards the next elevator down. And we found it, and it's one of the ones where it's a square platform and it's kind of hovering, and there's room around it. And a bloathead jumped down onto it, which you took out, a couple of seconds, whatever.
Mm.
So we said, all right, let's go down. So you walk onto the lift, I follow you to the lift, but by the time I got there, the lift had already started to descend. So I walk out into the nothingness, and then as the lift descends, I was maybe a meter above the lift the whole way down.
You were the invader.
Yeah, I was literally the invader. I was just hovering, just ever so slightly far away from the lift so as I couldn't connect. And by the time the lift had stopped, it bumped me off the side and I fell down into the bottom of the lift and died and felt like an idiot. So every time we then used a lift from that point on, it was like, are you on? I am
Are
on.
you on the lift?
I am going to stand in the left corner and not the middle button.
Are you on the lift?
But yeah, then after a very panicky run back, because I think I dropped 90,000 souls there.
You did drop a mind you, we both dropped rather spiteful amounts of chunks on that level, as I did a little bit later.
Yeah, we've both had a bad day with that level. I got mine back, thank God. And we decided to. I think we tagged out, didn't we? So we could tag the bonfire and then get you there as well. But yeah, I remember that being a bastard because I was panicking on the way back, thinking I'm going to get invaded. I'm going to get invaded. Oh, I want my money back, please. Just gunning it for this bit. But yeah, second bonfire hit, we saved up. We got you down there as well, and then we headed on into the Chasm of the Abyss.
Awesome level.
Awesome, weird, awesome level. Now we are going to start getting to spoilery time here soon, I think. But should we warn now, or do we?
Yeah, general big spoilers from here because the downloadable content has a lot of stuff in there which ties together the story of Dark Souls and in a huge way, and much of that then connects back to not just the main game, but it sets so many theories on fire, and in my case pushes me close to tears when I think about it. So be warned from here on in, because there be spoilers, lad.
Tis be spoiler country. So yeah, the Chasm of the Abyss is another very dark place. It's not as dark as the Tomb of the Giants, but it is pretty dark.
Yeah.
And of course, the good thing about darkness is that things can hide in it. But they have given the nice thought to give the floating, the bloatheads, their eyes glow in the dark, so you can at least see where bad guys are, even if you can't do anything about it. Now, the big shock in here for me initially was as we move through. Again, fairly standard to start with. It's a couple of bloatheads on the sides. You fight them through, and you move through, and then we look down at the humanity, the humanity men. And that threw me a bit for six, because I was not expecting to see the human. And just so you know what we're talking about, it's human-sized humanity sprites,
and child.
And also, yeah, oh Christ, yeah, and also child-sized humanity
moving
sprites.
incredibly slowly, and obviously the power that you that you get at this point is dark bead,
Mm.
and you wonder if Manus is siphoning off his own power from the humanity that he's captured and imprisoned within the abyss. So,
Mm.
but they're quite lifeless. But when they get close to you, they really sort of ramp into your energy. Plus, if you jump into them, it's not always obvious that just because you connect doesn't mean that you're going to be okay, because you can pass part way through one
Mm.
whilst you're hitting it and still have damage done to you.
And get zappadappled. And
Yeah.
it's quite a subtle effect as well. Like, I never noticed when I was getting hit; it was just kind of happening.
It's one of the main hits that actually uh, you seem to notice through the rumble in the pad more than anything.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it's weird because they're quite. I mean, considering that they're just a floating black blob,
Mm.
they're pretty tough. I thought.
Yeah.
Even the small ones, they take a good couple of hits to put down, and if they get on you, they sort of siphon your life off quite greedily. Almost, it's like the floating humanity. It's almost like they want to get their bodies back, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they seem to have they've got eyes, which indicates there's some life there. There's still some sort of part of, maybe soul's the wrong word because you're picking up thousands of souls all the time, but some sort of spark of wit, or there's a will there. And the way they see you, and they just slowly, all of them just move towards you, and it's almost like they're trying to feed off of you.
It's like they're drawn to you,
Mm.
and they're not sure why, because there's no real aggression to them.
No, they just kind of glide forwards, and they just try and. I think they're trying to feed.
I don't know. I think I think it's more surreal than that. I think that they're drawn towards you, like a soul is in the human body, and they're drawn towards a body, and it's not even a conscious thought.
Possibly.
Um,
Yeah. But as we progressed through, we got past the first clump of Humes,
mhm.
and then we went into Spoiler Town, USA.
I will say as well that with the humanity, if you've got the ghost ring, I think it is, which you can trade with Snuggly, I think. They're not even interested in you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't vaguely move towards you.
So maybe they, I don't know, to put a theory on it, view you as one of their own
Yeah, maybe
because you're
it is.
ethereal and there's no body to you.
Well, you also notice as well that they're all kind of hugging together. They're all clumped together. So maybe they're cold. Maybe it's heat that they're drawn towards. You don't, mind you. You could be down there as an undead creature. And
You say clumped together. Now all I can think about is penguins. Sort of black and white and all huddled together. That's just penguins. I also noticed as well, when I was putting together the new header for this for Twin Humanities, is that I was looking at the picture of it, and I never realised the humanity sprites actually, like, they have a head and a body. I thought they were just just a little oval blob. I didn't realise they actually had a shape to them, and seeing the larger ones, it kind of confirms that they are actually a people.
Mhm.
Really weird. Really, really weird when you notice it's got a head. You think, are those the things I've been popping into my body?
Yeah,
Ugh.
well, we've long since sort of mused the fact that as you go through the game, if you look carefully, a lot of what you're doing is actually undoing the people that are there. And we mentioned about,
You're a hero, but you're kind of ruining it at the same time.
well, you're someone that's got an agenda, that's got a mission and something that they wish to achieve, but you're doing it you're not doing it for sort of altruistic reasons, seemingly, because the same sort of thing that we're barracking Lautrec for, we're doing, because he thinks that he's on a mission for his goddess.
That's true.
And essentially you're on a mission that you've been thrown into via Velka.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's I think it takes a lot of preconceptions from gaming where, oh, go on, do the good thing, help all the people,
Yeah.
and even when you get to the end, it's quite magnanimous as to even with which direction you take the ending is a little bit magnanimous.
Sort of, did I do the good thing?
Well,
Yeah.
you've got the two Darkstalkers that are in there. You've got you've got Frampton and Carth,
Yes.
and each of them's got a point of view. And I've seen views that side with one. I've seen views that side with the other. One seemingly believing that that reigniting the flame or keeping the flame burning, like Gwyn has done, is the way forward, and the other believing that Gwyn should be stopped, and by ushering in an age of darkness, that you're going to rebirth the world, and does that darkness, is that truly the birth of humanity, or is it something worse? So it's like I think even though it is sort of fantasy, if you're applying real world ideas to it, like within zombie films,
Yeah.
when if that kind of thing happened, you wouldn't have a clue who was coming or what had happened, or you wouldn't know if it was a virus, you wouldn't know if anything had cracked off, because most of the time you just wouldn't have a clue, it wouldn't come out.
You're just running around in the dark with no idea what's going on and looking at what's in front of you.
Hiding and stuff. And
yeah,
in this, you're very much sort of influenced by what people tell you. And it's, you don't know the truth. And, even the end sort of, you're left to wonder what happens. And I don't know. I think it's part of the storytelling that just doesn't let people go, and kind of, you and I have said before that it's a lot of fun to restart a game on this, but people just sort of tend to love going through the game and trying to figure more out about it.
Take a different path, try and do things in a different order, and see how that affects what goes on around. I mean, I know that if you're a brave person, you can actually take on the four kings before you get the Lord Vessel, can't you?
There's loads of stuff you can do different ways.
Yeah, you can trot along and do things in any order you feel like, if you've got the skill and you've got the idea of what you're doing first. It's good that you're not necessarily gated the way through the whole thing, where it is a more open world. I mean, sure, there's bits you can't get through, like the 3 Lord Vessel doors, like that you can't get to Anor Londo before you ring the bells. But there's a lot of the game that it's basically open to you at the start.
Well,
you can just go, and if you feel like it, you can have a go. You won't win, but you can try, and with enough perseverance.
When you start the game, I mean, way back then, when I started the game, nobody really had any clue as to kind of how you were supposed to play it.
No.
In inverted commas, the proper way to do it, because nobody knew. And there were less warp points as well once you'd been into Anor Londo, so you really had to think about your journeys. And I knew a good while into it when I saw people sort of doing the bell tower gargoyles, and then using the master key to run round past New Londo ruins and go in the back entrance to Blighttown, take out Quelag. Then you've got your 2 bells are sorted, and none of us had any clue about that kind of thing when we first played it.
Nope.
And
I like how it is that kind of very, very, not obscure. They tell you what to do, but in the very loosest way possible. Like the guy is like, 1 bell above, 1 bell below.
Yeah.
That's the only hint you get. And I mean, a lot of people, I know I did this, when they say below, you go down to New Londo ruins.
Yeah.
You think, this is below? Yeah, this is probably it. And it turns out to be the worst decision that you make. But I like that it keeps it's obscure. The information is there, but you have to listen for it. And if you're just running around like an idiot, you can, to an extent, I think you could probably hack through Dark Souls without really paying attention.
I think
what people are saying. Yeah,
a lot of folks, that is their first playthrough because they're concentrating on staying alive. But that there's so much hidden away for you, and when you first get a grasp upon that, it's very, very difficult to not want more. And I think that's something that's come across in the conversations that you and I have had whilst we've been playing, particularly this area.
Yeah.
Because even now you were speculating about humanity, and we're speculating about Manus, and you noticed that Artorias, whilst he was one-handing that sword, that he got a broken arm.
Yeah.
And that then tied into some of the stuff which I'd seen, but you hadn't at that point.
Yeah.
Which is genuinely touching, and I know it's shaken a lot of people.
Which is the bit what we're about to.
Yeah. The
bit we got to next. So we go off down a secret. It's a bit of a secret passage, isn't it? Like you wouldn't necessarily see it unless you explored, and because it's an illusory walkway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You walk along.
The only way I knew about it initially was I got some help the first time I was there. I pulled somebody else into my game, and they jumped down there, and then I kind of saw their glowing phantom form sort of further down. I was like, right, okay, and then I was like, okay, that's Alvina, and then Alvina's ghost disappeared, and then another one.
A couple of Humanities.
Yeah, and then, I mean, explain what you thought when you got to that point.
Okay, so we're going through, and you've seen Alvina a couple of times because we're in your game. I couldn't see her, but I knew she was there. We were walking very slowly, very carefully through, taking out a couple of Humanities, nothing special, just one or two, and we turn a corner, and there's a group of them, maybe 6 or 7, clustered around a small yellow thing. And
are they protecting him, or are they trying to get him?
Exactly. You think, they're just sort of sitting there, but are they standing guard, or are they waiting for him to drop it? What is the yellow thing? I couldn't see what it was.
Why does Artorias cross the abyss to 1,000 years sort of before? Why does he do that?
He does that to save the people.
Is it because of a prophecy of Manus, or is it because you don't generally see a lot of people around Lordran at all? And I'm wondering if Manus, in that same way that he grabs you and pulls you into the past, as to whether he's been building up his power by just grabbing people and wrenching them through, popping their heads off, turning them into those bulbous creatures that are there, and storing the lifeless ghosts and feeding upon them as if so much licorice.
Yeah. I mean, it makes one think, aren't there any people in his time? Honestly.
Well, maybe he's used all of those up.
Maybe he has. It's rudeness is what it is. But yeah, as we move through, and there's a yellow blob on the floor that, you think, is that a chest? What is that? What are they defending, or what are they sitting, So we were arrowing the Humanities at this point because it was being quite effective. So I drew my bow.
You went, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, went into zoom mode, and then you see a doggy, and then you think, I've met a doggy before. I've met a big doggy. 1,000 years later, oh my god, that's Sif.
And then when you get closer, you see that he's in sort of a magical spell, a helix, is it?
A ring, or like not a helix maybe, but there's a word for it. Doesn't matter. Magical circle.
It's a magic circle, isn't it? Yeah. And beside him is Artorias' shield, and it's not. You realise that even if you've made the Great Shield of Artorias, it's a copy.
It's not
and
the
that's
real
the
one.
original thing. And Artorias is, when you examine the stats, it's really high in magic, and essentially Artorias laid down his shield to protect Sif, and then went into battle.
Which then in turn led to Artorias eventually, being defeated,
Yeah, I mean that's
or being punched into a corner essentially.
well,
And
you saw the hits that he took on that. If you look at that shield, there's huge dents in it.
the shield itself is wrecked,
And
absolutely
you
wrecked.
noticed before that he'd had his arm broken,
Hmm.
and Artorias himself has been hidden away in that citadel. He's having all manner of things thrown at him. He's slowly being driven mad by Manus's possession as well. And he's fighting to stay alive and has become this animalistic brute. But this is the man that bravely traversed an abyss to go back in time and laid down his shield to protect someone else at a point where he must have been fearing for his own life, which is the mark of a genuine hero.
I mean, God knows how long he's been there as well.
And makes him such a tragic hero in himself. But when you're on your way to Sif and you see those ghosts of Alvina, does this then put a different spin on the Forest Covenant? Because Alvina is just a bridge away from Sif in the main game. So are the Forest Covenant basically there to destroy anybody that might get near Sif or might get near Artorias' grave? We always perceive Alvina as being evil because of the cat voice, but
and the Cheshire Cat, sort of Cheshire Cat association that you make in your head, you think, oh, awkward.
But is she honouring Artorias? Is she protecting his grave? Is she trying to protect that which he sought to protect?
Yeah, I mean, gross simplification, but were they all friends in the past? Given that her ghost is there in the past as well, like she must have been there. I'm not sure why she's a ghost, but let's just say magical cat.
Well, you've got when you first enter the forest, there your mate Farrell, as we've come to call him.
Yep.
Is a ghost archer. You've got two ghost knights that are in there.
That's
and originally,
true.
I think the ring of fog, I think, might have been in there originally. I don't know. I might be a bit wrong on that, but maybe that's it. And I mean, when you get...
Theory. Like you said earlier, when you've got the ghost ring on, the Humanities don't go for you. Maybe Alvina's using the same kind of magic to keep herself safe.
Yeah, possibly.
Around there, and keep an eye, keep a watch on Sif, possibly, because that's the only place you see Alvina in the whole place is in round where Sif is sitting in the yellow magic circle.
Okay.
So maybe Sif's maybe Alvina's trying to help protect as well in her own way.
Think of something else as well that's around there.
What else is around there?
The spinning cats.
Oh, that's true. The spinning cat bastards.
Which is crazy. And also, if you're thinking even deeper from that, the creatures that are in the forest are all the mushroom creatures. And when you enter Oolacile, you meet Elizabeth, who's a giant mushroom. But Elizabeth says something to you, and I can't quite think what it was, but she addresses you as if, "Oh, you've come back here again." And when you defeat Manus and and Dusk is on the floor and is near catatonic, when you then go back to speak to Dusk near the Hydra, she basically maintains that Artorias saved her. So on the one side of it, are you a descendant of Artorias? Are you his spirit come back from the past as the chosen undead?
Yeah.
And also, you're actually rescuing Artorias' legend, because Artorias did this incredibly selfless act to protect Sif, and is fighting furiously, losing his own mind in that citadel, as Manus throws more and more things at him and tries to humiliate him. And essentially, within the time that you are now, Dusk is telling people that Artorias saved her, that he went back in time. Perhaps that was the reason that he went back in the first place, was to rescue Dusk, because she is Dusk of Oolacile, don't forget.
Yeah, it's true.
And she's telling people that Artorias saved her. So, are you rescuing his legend? Which is just phenomenally deep. Storytelling doesn't generally do this.
No.
And it just makes him such a tragic and layered character. And the point where Sif wakes up when you pick up the shield and Sif howls, both of us kind of went...
We had to take a moment, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was that sort of stood there going, bloody hell.
And then obviously going into the Manus fight, and then part way through the Manus fight, you went, what was that? And he was like, and then you summoned Sif in. And
I saw the ghost first and thought, there's a ghost. That's a ghost. Where did it go? And then I ran back when I got a second, and bringing in Sif to help. I was like, yeah, Roy.
You know, it is a really fun aspect when you've got 3 people hammering into Manus.
Yeah, it's a good reveal. It's a very good boss reveal as well. I mean, on the way in, we saw a message on the ground that would later prove to be useful. That said sniper spot here, and we're like, what? Can't see anything. Sod it, and we moved on. We got hammered a couple of times, didn't we? By Manus. He does not arse about at all.
Well, one of the great parts about that battle is the fact that for all of his wailing fists that he tries to hammer down, barely tickles the great shield of Artorias, and that makes me happy in of itself. Because here you are returning to the battle with essentially part of Artorias' legacy that's there to mock him.
Yep.
And there he tries to hit down on it, and it's it's a shield built from the soul of the creature that Artorias sought to protect, for better or for worse, and that it's got different properties, and those properties protect you from Manus. And as much as he tried to hammer down with those hits, he was barely getting through that shield, which makes me really happy, because I hate Manus.
Yeah. I mean, the actual design of Manus I thought was interesting as well. When we see him, because you sort of just see these eyes come out the dark, and I saw him, and my immediate thought was, that's another Titanite demon.
Well, this is something that I was thinking about earlier today. Was in the modern day, is that the reason why the Titanite demons have only got one leg? That they've been neutered to a certain degree,
trimmed. And they've got the sort of the curving halo bits.
Yeah, the Manus has got sort of several of.
Yeah, and they've got the spear, and you just look at them and think, were they built based off him? Were they like an idealized version of him, maybe?
Or maybe the Titanite demons are kind of they're the herald of the return of Manus. Maybe if you took all of those and you put them back together, you joined all of those broken halos together, you start getting something which resembled Manus
himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in general, it's a very good, but it's a very hard fight.
Yeah, it's a brilliant fight,
because it's great. I mean, unique to him, he's big, he's fast, he's very resilient, and he's very hard to read.
Well, you've got that. With regards to his moves, I wouldn't say he's as difficult to read as Calamite, because Calamite is really reactionary. I think the thing that Manus has on his side is that attack which throws out magic and then pulls it back again. But as we found it out, if you kind of hug close to him,
Yeah.
and behind him it doesn't really do a lot.
And what it looks like to me is it looks like they're humanity sprites that he's throwing out and bringing back in.
Well, it's essentially the dark bead magic that you pick up in the level.
Yeah. It was a beastie attack, and it was the cause of a couple of downfalls, definitely. But the way
but another joy within the fact that they've got this boss, which on the face of it is really, really tough and really, really spectacular. Yet they've hidden something truly, truly brilliant for anybody that chooses to look and really deeply look. And let's face it, we wouldn't have looked if somebody hadn't left a message on the ground.
yes. So the message we found, we immediately discounted it, didn't we? First, we're like, I can't see a thing. It said
Yeah, we
sniper
thought someone was
spot.
trolling.
Yeah, it said sniper spot, and it was only on a later mission that we came back to later. And I looked down, and I thought, I can see my souls down there. Like, that little green blob is my bloodstain. I wonder. And then, with a bit of camera manipulation, you can make out Manus's little red eyes on his head.
You were saying to me, look down there.
He's down there.
Can you see? And I was like, no. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, and you can see him, and he is there. And it's like, now, this worked on old King Alan. Being able to shoot arrows at him from such a distance that it won't aggro him. And you can't hard aim at him, which makes it harder as well. Going into like manual cursor mode with L1 to kind of free aim, you can't aim down that hard. What you have to do is line up where you can sort of see his eyes underneath. Then deselect it, go back to your normal camera, and then very carefully tilt the camera down.
Yeah, so you have to go into kind of first-person mode and then pull out of it and then adjust your camera a little bit downwards. And it helped that there was the two of us, because whoever was controlling the arrows couldn't really see that they were actually making contact or where those arrows were going. So we kind of had to help one another at first.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of up a bit, down a bit, left a bit, no, down a bit. Should we try poisoning him? No, it doesn't work. Down a bit. And
which once again ties close to the Titanite demon theory, because they couldn't be poisoned either.
That's very true. Once we actually got it tagged in, it's like we can shoot him. And I mean, at this point, I had my Faris bow I had upgraded to plus 14. Put the Hawk Ring on as well, and it was doing a good 70 damage per arrow.
It was twatting him.
It was doing
big, wasn't it?
It was beautiful. So I think we took out maybe 3/4 of his health before we decided to go and finish it like men.
Yeah, probably about 4/5, to be honest.
Yeah,
but he'd still got more health than we thought he'd got.
Definitely, we came back in and he had closer to maybe just over a third health left still.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Which didn't look like it on the bar, but who cares? Sif was immediately there. He was immediately doing his dangerous attacks as well.
He didn't sort of crack into his early mode, did he? It was like, right, I'm on the ropes a little bit. Time to wheel out le big guns.
To use another RPG, mechanic, it's screw this. I'm going straight to my final form.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's still a tough fight, but eminently more beatable.
Yeah, I'd got gold pine resin on the bunny stick and was doing a decent amount of damage. You were cracking in with pyromancy.
Yeah, pyromancy. It was beautiful. It was working great, and knocked him out. Found Dusk of Oolacile laying on the floor, and dressed like a lady, and all was good. And then we did it in your game, and tell us the story of when we got invaded.
I'm trying to think now.
The amusing one earlier.
Oh man, we were. The guy just appeared from nowhere, didn't? That was it. I jumped down to where Sif was, for no other reason than I kind of seemingly instinctively wanted to, and we got into quite a lot of trouble with the sort of humanity coming towards us.
Yeah, we kind of ran away a bit. We thought, let's go to the boss door. That'll be fine. We'll just go straight to the boss. And we kind of ran into a cluster of humanities and couldn't really work out where to go.
It was a little bit like sort of an old school 20s comedy film.
Yes.
Where you'd run around a corner and, there the policeman come to get you, and then
you round another corner and then, no, there's some more.
Yeah,
So,
it was a wee bit like
yeah, I remember us running around in small circles, surrounded by humanities, all of them kind of convening in on us, going, "Where are we going? I don't know!" Still with this threat of this invader that we'd still not seen.
Mm.
And I think you got by the humanities as I got backstabbed by the ghost invader.
Yeah.
Because I think he'd ghost ringed it up, so he was very, very transparent. And I'd just seen you go down. I was like, "Oh no!" And then just saw the blade go through my chest.
Mm-hmm.
It was sad.
But there was also that comedy moment where I was trying to get to the right point where I'd cleared out loads of creatures of loads of humanity from the area, and then went down into a corner, started talking to you on Skype, and then a humanity dropped on me from above. I just went like through my energy. I was like, what the what?
That wasn't very nice. But yeah, well, after we'd beaten Manus, we went our separate ways for a bit. Something very stupid happened to me.
Go on.
Okay, so it was after we'd split up, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to what's his face, Aishin Y guy. I thought I'm going to go over to him. I've got quite a lot of souls on me. I thought I'll go buy some of the other armors because I was enjoying mixing and matching, and I thought, well, I'd quite like to have all of them. So I thought I'll go buy some more armors. So I went over to Aishin Y and I bought Smaug's set.
Okay.
Or Ornstein, whichever one. Ornstein's skinny, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay.
Smoke's the toe boy.
Smoke is the one that sounds like a foghorn. Smoke. Yeah. Okay.
Smoke boy.
So I thought I went and bought Ornstein's armor. I thought I can mix it about. This is fresh after killing Manus, Father of the Abyss. Big scary fight. I rolled off the edge of the bridge.
Honestly.
And it was right next to Mr. Aishin Y, and I turned around and I thought, right, it's got to get out of the way. And my thumb just naturally tapped circle. And he just went, woo, off the edge. And I kind of had to put the controller down and look at it and think, awesome. I went and killed the Father of the Abyss, but I can't handle not jumping off a ledge.
I have kind of stuffed up that area a few times, though.
It's such a tricky jump. And
I often find that if I don't have the shield out when I'm walking around, I like a tightrope walker with the massive pole, I kind of, for some reason, lose my balance a little bit, which is chicken oriental.
But yeah, I felt rather stupid. And then shortly after we were back, we were talking again, and we both decided to go and get the Chester gear, didn't we?
We did. You with a degree more success initially than I.
Yeah, I went first, and I thought easy peasy. Ran up to him, chucked a few fireballs up his face, and generally it was quite an easy fight. I bomb, dead, and you were like, "Oh, I'm going to do that too," because I was, saying, "Oh my god, it looks so cool," I was enthusing to you over Skype how cool I thought it looked, and you were like, "Oh, go on, then I'll get it as well." Tell me what happened.
I kind of went towards him, and I thought, I wasn't getting a lock on, so I thought, "Oh, this is great to chuck in some firestorm." So I launched into firestorm, and it knocked him right off the ground, and sort of disappearing down one of the neighbouring caverns. And I was like, "Oh, great, but his stuff will have gone. So I'll quit out the game and I'll come back." And I came back to the game, and he was just like instant aggro. And just throwing out the single darts and then the triple darts. And I was like, oh, balls. But I kind of thought I could take him on. And I couldn't. And I ended up dying a few times. I ended up trying to jump in with the R2 attack on the reinforced club, and got shot by all three of the darts that he was kicking out.
There was an Elmer Fudd moment, wasn't there?
Oh, that was like where I returned close to the arena where you fight Artorias, and was just looking out of the corner. It's like, shh, time to go hunting wabbits. and was like peeking round the corner,
Hiding
trying.
behind a tree, weren't you?
Well, I was peeking round the corner at first, trying to kick out some poison arrows, and then when I was almost doing a road runner, that I was sort of firing at him and then moving close to a tree, and then firing at him and then moving up to a different tree, and I was like, come on then, what are you gonna do? And that's the point where he ran down the bridge and started coming towards us. I was like, Paddy, he's coming.
And what else did you try and hide behind? What's the most discreet thing you think you could have hidden behind?
I don't know what was that.
You were hiding behind a tree, and then you hid behind a tree again, and then you told me you'd hidden behind something else.
Yeah,
It wasn't the place that I would choose to hide behind.
I hid behind a lamp. And I think that was the point where he got most naffed off, because he was firing all of these darts, and it was like some sort of really bad 70s comedy where it's like, oh no, Richard, my husband's home, and it was just
Put a lampshade on your head.
like hiding behind a standard lamp. But yeah, and that's where he sort of came and get me and was doing all of his sort of spin kicks and stuff. And
but you got him eventually.
Struggling a bit from there, but eventually kind of twatted him. But
and that's what happened.
That's when we became Gokwan of Lordran.
How to look good in Lordran. Because then I think we spent about 10 minutes doing this, trying on
longer than that.
It was might have been
longer than that.
Yeah.
Trying on clothes.
Trying on all the clothes, because the Chester gear, I think looks really, really good.
It's important to look pretty.
Yeah, it's like a steampunk V for Vendetta outfit. It looks really, really cool. And then we're like, oh, that looks really cool. I wonder if you take this off and put those. Oh, let's try the gloves on. Oh, try this with this hat. And we sat there. Yeah, it must have been 15 minutes saying, oh, put on the leather gloves. Put on the leather gloves. And then
the thing was, we were doing really cool stuff. Like if you put on, I think it was the thieves' mask. That even though it went over the top of Chester's coat, that the rose that's pinned on the side of his jacket is pinned on the thief's mask instead.
Yep.
And little things like that, and we realised that the Eastern Helm made you look like a member of Daft Punk.
I worked out that my hair on my character clips through the coat when you haven't got the hat on. Which was quite funny. I remember trying on different gloves. I think the Lautrec stuff looked really good with the coat, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Really,
that's
cool.
what I've got now.
And then we also worked out our little revelation during the fashion show is that we worked out that on that coat, if you have bare hands or thin gloves, like the gloves of the Maiden, I think they're called, or the Painting Guardian gloves. If you wear those kind of gloves, the sleeves on the coat come all the way down. If you put on gauntlets, armoured gauntlets, the sleeves on the coat roll up.
And it's not even a case of kind of the gloves going over the top of the coat. They are actually rolled up, because a lot of the time there's a little bit of a gap
you can see
between the
skin.
end of...
Yeah, there's very few gloves that match up with the top of the thing. So there's always a skin bit in between. And I think we then spent another couple of minutes trying on all the gloves.
Yeah.
To see which ones looked the best. But yeah,
we also noticed that if you put on Havel's gauntlets with the outfit, that it just looks like he's been drawn by Joe Madureira. Fantastic.
And of course, the best hat to wear with that outfit is, of course, the sack.
Oh, that's the one that just looked rubbish.
I thought it looked pretty fun. And it's such a cool outfit. And I think I'm going to have to go... I mean, I've already started, but farming all the Titanite shards, in the Twinkling Titanite, just to get it up to all +5s, because...
I've got a few of them up to +5, haven't I?
Yeah, it's like, if you're gonna be going around and saving the world, you might as well look good doing it.
Well, I'm not sure that I like it better than Witch Beatrice's coat, because I love that kind of bend that it's got at the back, and how it comes down into.
That is also a good coat.
We're gonna look like crazy policemen because obviously the next time that we team up, we're going to go dressed as Chesters.
Yes, a cracking pair of Chesters.
Yes, indeed.
Can we do better than that? No, we probably can.
I think we probably can.
Yeah. Well, you have your... Well, as we say, you put on your Chester hat, and you put on your Chester gloves and your Chester jacket, and then you finish it off by putting on your Chester drawers.
Hey!
Hey! Finally made a joke.
I just think that if one of us is wearing a Lautrec's helm and the other one's wearing an Eastern helm, we're just going to look for like the Dark Souls equivalent of Daft Punk.
It's going to be so good, and we're going to run around, and we're not going to get lucky.
Hey!
Because we don't have the Pharrell hat on.
But you tried.
I did try. It did look
that-
a bit
that
fancy.
helmet.
It looked good, but it didn't look as good as Daft Punk looked.
No.
And frankly, armor ratings, poison defense, who gives a toss if you don't look good?
Yeah, that's my Dragon's Dogma thing all told.
If anything, modern celebrity culture has taught us that if you're proficient at something but ugly, no one cares. If you're crap, wow, the blog posts you'll get.
Yeah.
If you look attractive. It's... Wow. And politics. Gender and physical attraction-based politics in the land of Lordran. Nowhere is safe.
You are indeed a man of many layers.
Nowhere is...
An onion, bro.
No!
Except you killed him.
Oh, Farron from the forum brought him up the other day and it made me cry. It's like, I didn't mean to. Oh, it still hangs on me. Onion Bro,
Yeah.
still.
You and Matt Lees sitting in a tree.
Peeling onions.
From his dead body.
Their body, yeah. So, yeah, let's draw to a close there. That was Manus, The Abyss, More Tomb of the Giants, and Chester Drawers. A name for this episode, sir. Go.
I think Chester Drawers has got to be a popular one, surely.
That's the badger then. Easy peasy. Next time, where are we going to hit next time?
Calamite.
Calamite?
Got to hit Calamite next time.
We're gonna go and Calamite him.
Hey! Here
Love-
we are. After your non-puns of last time, you've
Yep.
now joined us.
I'm in the land of the living finally.
Yeah.
I popped my humanity, I've reversed my hollowing, and now I can make jokes.
Yes.
Because that's how it works.
Of course it does.
Yeah, that's how jokes work. So my name was Paddy. His name was CJ. As always, if you're listening on the forums, give us a little word, say hello. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. We'll always try and respond. If you hear this anywhere else, by all means, say hello as well.
Yeah.
Get in contact on the Twitter if you want to talk to both of us. I'm at Paddy Stardust.
And I'm at Coffee Jesus. That's with a Z instead of the middle S.
That's right. Controversial choice. This was the Dark Souls podcast, Twin Humanities. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.